Printer ink has a reputation so bad, it became a meme. It costs more than human blood, and depending on how you do the math, it can. But here's the twist. The ink isn't the real product. You are. A typical cartridge holds only a few teaspoons of liquid, yet it can cost as much as a nice dinner. And the crazy part is how invisible the pricing feels, because nobody buys ink by the liter. You buy a tiny plastic rectangle and hope it lasts. Ink isn't just colored water. It has to survive heat, air, and time. It has to flow through microscopic nozzles thousands of times per second and land exactly where it should without bleeding into the paper fibers. Inside an inkjet printhead, the openings can be smaller than a human hair. If particles are too big, the nozzle clogs. If it's too watery, the print looks washed out. If it dries too fast, you lose the head. So the ink has to be engineered. Viscosity, surface tension, drying speed, stability. That part is real science. Even the color is complicated. You want deep blacks, bright cyans, and consistency between batches. You want it to resist UV light and humidity. And you want it to do all that cheaply, at scale. So yes, there's R&D. But R&D alone still doesn't explain why consumers feel like they're being mugged. Here's the first big reveal. The printer is the cheap part on purpose. Many printers are sold with razor-thin margins, or even at a loss, because the profit is in the consumables, ink and toner. It's the classic razor and blades model. Once the printer is in your home, switching isn't fun. You've installed drivers, you've learned the buttons, maybe you've bought paper that works best. And when the ink runs out, you're not shopping calmly like you would for snacks. You're often in a hurry. That urgency is a pricing superpower. Ink pricing hurts because it's not transparent. A cartridge might be 10 milliliters, or 20, or less than you think. And pages aren't a fair unit either, because page yield depends on coverage, settings, and paper. So the consumer can't easily compare brands like you do with fuel or groceries. Second reveal. The cartridge isn't just a container, it's often a control device. Chips track usage, authenticate the brand, and report status. Some systems lock features behind what they recognize as official. Because if third-party cartridges become frictionless, the whole profit model collapses. This is why firmware updates create drama. When updates change compatibility, people don't feel maintenance. They feel, my printer suddenly refuses what used to work. And the manufacturer will say it's for reliability, quality, or security. Sometimes that's true, but economically, it also protects the refill business. Now add a third layer, ink you never see. Printers run cleaning cycles to keep nozzles alive. They purge ink, they prime the system, they keep the head from drying out. So you're not only paying for what you print, you're paying for what the printer does in the background to stay functional. So is ink really more expensive than blood? If you take a pricey consumer cartridge and convert it to cost per milliliter, ink can look absurdly expensive. Blood pricing, on the other hand, depends on country, healthcare system, and context, and consumers usually don't buy it like retail liquid. So the comparison is a provocation, not a scientific conclusion. The shocking price isn't proof that ink is magical. It's proof that the business model is optimized for lock-in. The printer was never the product. The printer is the subscription device. Before subscriptions were cool. And that leads to the real question. How do you avoid the trap? You look at total cost of ownership, not the printer price. You check cartridge yield and refill cost. You consider tank-based systems if you print a lot. And you treat cheap printer like a warning label, not a bargain. Next time you see a low printer price, translate it as, "Welcome to the ink ecosystem." If you want more small things with big reasons, subscribe.